Hello everyone and welcome to the FIA Certified Gran Turismo Championships for 2019. This the manufacturer series for the European region. Top 16 superstars getting ready to go racing. To call you through the action is myself, Chris McCarthy, and alongside me, Jimmy Broadbent.
You love me some manufacturer series racing, Chris. Really looking forward to watching this one.
Particularly in the European region as well. Let's see how the points currently stand then after 7 rounds of racing, and it's Coque Lopez who leads the way at the moment, 9,105 points, but pretty close. Well, he's got a bit of a lead over the likes of third place, but fairly close between the top two.
Yeah, it is, and you can see Toyota there dominating the top 8, 4 cars there, but of course that also goes against you. You want to be the highest placed Toyota driver, or you won't be the representative when we come round to the finals a bit later on this year. You can see they're rounded off quite a few guys in the top, quite a few different manufacturers in the top 16, rounded out by BSI Colin there in the Renault in 16th.
Well, there you can see how the driver standings are, and this is how the manufacturer standings are globally. Toyota leading proceedings at the moment by just under 100 points over Porsche, with Mercedes-Benz third, Lexus up there in fourth, Alfa Romeo fifth. Down towards the back, just sneaking in at the moment into the top 12 are the likes of Hyundai and Audi. Any major absentees there? Can't say I'd pick any out. Aston Martin, of course, were on the podium last year. They're not in there at the moment.
Well, it's very close to the bottom, so I think if we do see any decent performances from any of the marks up there, that could quite easily change.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and find out, I guess. Let's have a little look at where we will be racing today. It's going to be at the very challenging Suzuka circuit. Always provides very, very close and entertaining racing, as we've seen on many occasions, and a very famous circuit to go racing around. Very famous corners around here. It's got to be one of everyone's favourites, I'd say, particularly going around the likes of 130R and through the Spoon curve as well, and those Degners as well. Very tricky to drive.
The 130R for me, Chris, is turning hope most of the time. Very fast left-hander. There is a bit of runoff there on exit, but it's AstroTurf. So if you touch that, the car gets very loose, drags you out, and you can end up on the grass and in the wall if you are not careful. Now, of course, we have the new penalty system in place with the penalty line, and you can see where the penalty line here is on your screen, just after the spoon curve, just after T14. So if you do get a penalty for maybe a bit of rough racing or maybe going off the circuit, then going through T14 and you'll be asked to serve the penalty, and then you'll lose that speed all the way down to the chicane. So best not get one.
It will make 130R a little bit easier, but it won't do you any good position-wise, will it? Well, let's take a look at the race details then and see how many laps we're going to have today. It's going to be 9 laps in total. Group 3 cars we are going to be in, medium and soft tyre available, 15 times tyre wear.
Yep, so I always like to say it, 1 lap on the tyres equals 15 laps of tyre wear, and as you can see, that's what we think is going to happen if you choose to take the soft tyre. You will not make the race. You'll make about 5 laps or so. Soft tyre wears very quickly, as you can imagine, it being the fastest compound but the least durable. Racing medium tyre, however, we think will make the race, but the penalty is that you will be losing about 1.1 seconds a lap. So if you do choose to stop, it's going to cost you about 14 seconds, so you have to think, right, okay, can I make that time up by staying out on the medium? And that's what our drivers have to try and work out.
Well, that's the formalities out the way then. Let's get down to the grid and get round number 8 underway. They're going to be in those Group 3 cars. There they are on pole position. It is going to be TRL Lightning. Set a time of a 1:57.046 in qualifying, but it was very close indeed. There we can see the Subaru of Mick Hizal. Behind is Suzu, was only 600ths of a second back in qualifying in the Lexus. Then we have Adam Saswillo flying the flag for the Aston Martin in third place. He was also within a 10th of pole position. Slent in the Beetle will start from 4th place, was 2/10ths back from pole. Then we have RK23 in 5th place in the Toyota. Likewise will be Coque Lopez starting from 6th. Then we have GTA Tijni in 7th place in the Audi, and Carl Williams is going to be in 8th place in the Mercedes AMG.
In the second half of the grid there's TRL all looking to try and catch his teammates, I'm sure, in 1st and 2nd, down in 9th. Now in 10th there is SRC SVDR in the Volkswagen Beetle flying the VW flag. Then down 11th is the Hyundai driver Nico RD in the Genesis. Then down in 12th is the Jag, the very British there, Jaguar being driven by a Frenchman. And then in 13th we have Yoma 74 in that glorious Viper. truck-engined, front-engined American car. Then we have Steve Gaming there in 14th in the F-Type Jag, followed by ERT Bellin, also in a Viper there in 15th, and rounding off our top 16, well not rounding off our top 15. We don't have a 16th, I guess he didn't fancy racing today, Chris.
No, didn't fancy turning up.
No,
Yeah, fair enough. But the show must go on. 15 are there on the grid. Mick Hizal, no surprise to see him at the front, but it was very close between those top three, Suzu and Adam Saswillo, all within a tenth of a second, and then it was only 2/10 back before we got to 4th place and down. 9 laps ahead of us. One driver has gone for the medium tyre SRC. They're down in 10th, but other than that, we've all gone on the soft tyres. So pretty much it's going to be a level playing field bar that one medium tyre runner.
Yeah, I think so. We'll see what SVDR does. He might try and go for the nose stop, of course, but it'll be quite difficult to pull off because it means you've got to try and defend against people with a much faster tyre. And round Suzuka, that really makes a difference. So it's going to be TRL Lightning leading off the field, coming round the last chicane for the first time of asking with his superior WRX power. It hasn't decided there, the Cookie Monster livery, just coming down the main straight now. Rolling start, so we'll wait for the green flag, and then we'll be away for 9 laps here at Suzuka. So there you go, TRL Lightning guns it, and away we go then here at Suzuka in the Manufacturers' Cup. Goes straight to the inside to try and break the toe, then comes back to the racing line. Suzu there right up behind in the slipstream, and behind him is Williams Adam there, and that's very fast in a straight line. Aston Martin V12 coming around T1 for the first time of asking. Everyone through there nice and easily from what I can see, and now through the S's. Just very much a game of follow the leader through here. Very hard to overtake, this is with a far superior car, but right now everyone's on fresh soft tyres. The cars are grippy, the cars are fast, and the drivers are ready.
Yes, they are indeed, and no problems or disasters for anyone down the field, which is good to see. We are on board with Adam Saswillo as they make their way up towards the Degners, and it was a very good start for Mick Hizal, likewise Suzu, and already they seem to have just a little bit of a gap, but there is a long race still to go. 8.5 laps still remain. Now we've got 6/10 back to Slent in 4th place. RK23 is 5th. Coque Lopez is 6th, and we have Martin Grady there in 7th place. Fairly equidistant all the way through the field at the moment, it has to be said. There are no real battles going on between our lead group, and Mick Hizal is the car out front still.
He'll be happy with that, of course. Mick is always someone to try and what he thinks is pick the hardest manufacturer to drive. So he's in Subaru this year, which is, of course,
confident
in the hands of Mick Hizal. I mean, look at it, he's leading right now. So, but Subaru's pretty quick round here. His car is fairly decent around the corners, not so fast in the straight line, from my understanding of how the cars are balanced right now. So all about just trying to be quick through the corners and defending on the straights when possible. The car behind is pretty quick in the straight lines. The Lexus TRL Suzu right on the back there of TRL Lightning coming through 130R. It's a fellow TRL teammate. We look up the inside of the chicane here. No, he holds back on for now. Has a kind of half look there, then gets back into line and stays second for now. Very hotly contested at the top between the TRL teammates. First and second covered by just over 0.3 of a second, but in the background there, representing Williams, is Adam Saswillo in that V12 Aston Martin, which is very quick in a straight line.
Well, all these drivers know each other very well, but particularly those two teammates. Will Mick Hizal turning his way in towards turn number 1. Suzu just in behind. It seems like we've got a 3-car breakaway out front when we've got a 1 second gap back to Slent in 4th place, who is under a little bit of pressure from RK23. We've had some changes behind that though. Carl Williams is in 6th place. Then we've got TRL Org in 7th place. Coque Lopez seems to have fallen, I think, to 9th place. So some changes down the lower order of the top 10 as Coque Lopez goes up to 8th place out of shot. This is TRL Lightning we're watching, of course, in Mick Hizal. There we have the aforementioned Coque Lopez with a bit of a queue of cars behind. I think we can see why there was a few changes. Now there's a penalty for TRL Alg just ahead, I think. I saw that just out of view. Yes, there we go, 5-second penalty. So why there were some changes, I guess, is why TRL Alg has that penalty. There must have been some contact somewhere.
Yeah, it usually means there's been a push or a shove somewhere across the line. I can't help but think it may have been Tidgney, because I'm fairly sure I saw him in 6th coming across the line, and now he's down in 9th position. So maybe something happened there. We'll have to see if we can have a look at that after the race, but there is Tidgney now in that rather nice livery Audi R8, looking around the outside, or what will now become the inside of the next left-hander. Not quite close enough to get that move done though, and for now has to stay behind Coque Lopez in the Williams. So we'll see what he's got on the straight line here. Behind him, Nico RD in the Hyundai Genesis. We don't really see many of the Hyundais represented here, and there's a big penalty there, and that's what the penalty looks like on your screen for Thierry Orr. Look how many places he's lost. He was in 5th position, and now he's gone all the way down the field, and is last.
Well, here goes Martin Grady trying to go down the inside of Coque Lopez. Martin Grady doesn't seem to have the luck at the best of times, particularly at our World Tour events, but Martin Grady hoping to get a good one here in this Top 16 Superstars race. Nico RD just behind, so a nice three-way battle here. Likewise with these three, our three leaders. Slent trying to close in, and we've had a change for lead. Sutsu now in the lead of the race. We didn't quite see where that happened, but Mick Hizal has dropped to 2nd place. I imagine he didn't make it too hard for him though, because Sutsu and Lightning still remain very close together. Adam Soswillo just behind, wasn't able to capitalise on anything that happened there and seems to just be falling away. Perhaps the two teammates are working together here. Slent then in 4th place, RK23 in 5th, trying to chase down with a big gap behind to Carl Williams.
I'm going to guess it was probably at T1 at some point.
Yeah.
We saw the Lexus were pretty quick in the straight lines, but we just drove past the Subaru there, and as you said, I'm fairly sure Mick didn't make it hard for him. But anyway, coming down into the hairpin now for the 3rd time. Here's the view looking back from Sutsu, and there's the Lexus, big old rear wing on that thing. Probably sleep on that if you were so inclined. Coming around the long right-hander now, quite easy round here in a GT3 car, Group 3 car. The cars will just stick. It's then just trying to set yourself up for the next left-hander. A very difficult apex through Spoon Curve. It's hard to get it right. You have to try and straight line it a bit here, brake and try and turn a car in, not too aggressively though, you go wide, and then got the power nice and early and run out to the exit of the course. Use a bit of Astro if you fancy it, as you see everyone else does there, just running on the curb, and then we go down to 130 yard. You can see now, even with the slipstream, that Subaru, it's not quite enough to compete with Alexa. Starts to gain about now, but it's too late now coming through 130 yard. Have to try and back off a little bit, although he doesn't really right on the back there of the Lexus.
Yeah, stuck to the road through 130R, wasn't it? And Mick Hizal looking very, very good round 130R going down to the chicane, which will certainly help when we get later on into the race. This, though, the driver to watch, RC Slent, is going along very well in that Beetle at the moment, has caught the top 3, and we've got someone into the pits. Coque Lopez has gone into the pits, so the first driver to stop, followed in by TRL Alg in the Porsche. It's probably the next lap where we would expect to see drivers come in, so going in early there.
Maybe trying the undercut, trying to get some track position a bit later on. Sometimes track position is worth having a little bit of worse tyres, but we'll see how that works out. But Coque Lopez, I mean, Thierry Org following him, he's got really nothing to lose now, Org, so just giving that a go, I think, and we'll see if that pays off for them as the race progresses. You see now RC Slent in that VW Beetle Group 3 car. I thought I'd say those words again in order. Very close to the back of that V12 Aston Martin, so it's close, but where's that Beetle going to get by? I mean, we could probably have a go coming down into the hairpin if he's feeling brave, but the drive out the corner there for Williams Adam is enough to, I think, secure him just coming down here for the 4th time. Let's see, so braking hard now. No, not quite enough to get past. Let's see what sort of drive this Beetle has in a straight line. You see behind there, RK23 giving us a nice big drift through the hairpin. That won't be good for his rear tyres, but I'm pretty sure we'll be losing them at the end of this lap. You can see that Aston so quick in a straight line, Chris. Even with the drive, that Beetle was struggling to keep up.
Adam Soswillo flying the flag for Aston very well, and this would be a good result for Aston Martin as a manufacturer as well, let alone Adam Soswillo, as we go down towards 130R on lap number 4, and Mick Hizal flashing the lights there in 2nd place is going to pull to the outside of Sutsu, and Sutsu not giving him the space as Lightning wasn't quite able to get alongside, so Sutsu pulls back across to take the racing line through 130R, and Sutsu on the brakes looks good enough to hold off Mick Hizal. In the background, Slent looking to the outside there of Adam Soswillo, who was also flashing his lights as they now come into the pits, and watch the queue of them come in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight into the pits, all 5 leaders in.
Yeah, we're getting it done now, so obviously a very similar strategy for all cars on the circuit. See the simulated pit crew there, out there with tyres ready to take our leader there into the pits.
Grady's gone for medium. Yeah, interesting. That's interesting. Down the other,
DJ Tissue has gone for the medium compound tyre, so really struggling on that softness. That was interesting. I'm not sure that's going to work out for him, or if he meant to do that or not. We've seen people in the past make mistakes in the pit stop, so But here is your leader at the moment, SRC SVDR, who is the only person we think trying the no stop on the mediums. But you can see he's not going to keep this position. We've got Susu right behind, so Lightning as well. And they're on much quicker tyres, which are much fresher. It's just going to be a matter of time, I think.
Yeah, well, SVDR, he shouldn't really make this too hard. I'd just pull aside and let the train go through, because you're only going to make enemies if you try and delay the likes of Suzu, who is effectively leading this race at the moment from Mick Hazal. We know that they've been battling already, and there's Suzu just making SVDR aware that he is behind. A little bit of a tap as they went down towards the hairpin, and Suzu pulls to the inside, and Mick Hazal behind is going to go through as well. So SVDR now begins that tumble down the order. So Suzu back into the lead of the race. Mick Hazal into second. Behind, we've still got Adam Soswillo ahead of Slent, despite the pressure from that Beetle of RC Slent. Then it is RK23, only 8 tenths back, and I think that's worth noting. Coque Lopez, who was first into the pits, is in 7th place, just 1.6 back from RK23. So I don't think it's worked out too badly for him at all. In a fairly good position at the moment.
So yeah, in the background there, SVDR losing yet more positions, and there goes Slent on the inside of 130R. He's not waiting around, straight up the inside there, slides past SVDR, says, well, I'm going to come through, mate. If you get in the way, you're going up the course. And SVDR goes, all right.
Yeah,
lets him through. He knows he can't fight it, and it loses yet more positions down the back of the field there, this time to RK23. So I don't think the medium no stop is the way to go around here. Looks like the tyre wear is so large around here, it's just worth just taking the soft tyre and taking the pit stop, I think. But anyway, back to the fight for third. RC Slent and Williams Adam Soswillo very close on they've been close the entire race, these guys. That Beetle there, very aggressive at the moment, especially into the faster corners.
Yeah, I think SVDR would have known when we got to the race and saw pretty much everyone else on the softs going, well, oops, probably made the wrong decision here. Well, here we go, back to the battle for third. Adam Soswillo versus Slent. It's been like this for a number of laps now, and it probably will continue all the way to the end. Is Slent just going to sit behind here and wait to see what happens up ahead, I wonder? I don't think the teammates of Suzu and Lightning would fight now. I'd say they would probably have a pre-race agreement to wait till the last lap, but well, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I'd assume as teammates, as Slent now closes in on Adam Soswillo. Slent wants to get through, thinks he's faster, perhaps knows he's faster, and Adam Soswillo now starting to take ever so slightly defensive lines.
Yeah, maybe just thinking about it now. The thing is, this is allowing RK23 behind to get back onto this train for third place. So if I were Williams Adam, I'd just be attempting just to be nice and clear with my lines, make sure that I'm not giving Slent too much of an opportunity to get a run on me at any point, and then just making sure I'm keeping just not making any mistakes. Easier said than done, of course, but down the straight the Aston has a little bit of an advantage, but this close though the VW's going to have a nice big toe coming down into 130R. We know they've sent us to try and send it up the inside here, so we'll see if we can get close enough to do that.
Yeah, let's have a look then as they come up towards 130R. Certainly not close enough there. Two leaders look more closer than anything else, but what about Slent? Is he going to pull to the outside? Yes, he is. This almost a repeat of what we saw last time around, unless this time it might be successful.
Oh, wow.
No, it almost was. Well, he gave it a good go. You can't argue with that. Slent almost getting into third place, and that a huge worry for Adam Soswillo. Got away with that one. Slent will come back and have another go.
I have no idea how he got that turned in. He slid the car around the outside, and of course it's run out of track eventually, but it was really a good effort. But that's going to mean that Adam is now looking in his mirror coming down there, so maybe just trying to plant the seed of doubt, just trying to get into his head a bit, and that's definitely part of racing around here, just trying to just mislead the person in front of it to making a mistake in some aspects. So, but the thing is, what that's cost Slent now is that RK23 is now right in the back of him. Of course, if you're fighting someone going side by side through a corner, you're not taking the ideal line, you're losing time, and that always means the guys behind get that little bit closer, and here it is on track now.
Yeah, well, with risk comes reward, but when that risk doesn't pay off, of course, you come in danger of falling more places, and RK23 might be there to punish Slent should he make, I wouldn't say another mistake, but another misattempt to get into that third place. Well, here is Lightning still pressurising Suzu. We think that, well, I think he may just be waiting for the last lap, or a mistake from Suzu, which may not come given the level of drivers we are watching at the moment, but Suzu doing a fine job out there in the lead so far. Hazal in second place, 1.6 seconds over the likes of Adam Soswillo behind. So a good gap in hand to play with here for Mick Hizal, and Adam Soswillo not a good gap width to have over Slent. Only 3.5 tenths at the moment. RK23 in there. Coque Lopez doing pretty well, back in 6th place, an 8th advantage over Carl Williams. Martin Grady on those medium tyres is then in 8th place. Then it's Nico RD, TRL all grounds out the top 10. But here we go for 3rd place. Slent, is it going to be 3rd time lucky? I think it might be. Sells the dummy to Adam Soswillo, and Slent is into 3rd place. Fantastic stuff. Well, Adam Soswillo thought he was going to go to the outside, and Slent this time had the inside always in his mind and goes into 3rd place.
But now that Aston's going to come back on the straight, as we said, goes to the outside. It's already past Slent there before we even get down to T1, so all that hard work is already undone. Looks up the inside, but he's not close enough to do anything about it, and that will be really frustrating there for the VW driver. It was such a nice move as well into the chicane. Just do what you said earlier on, was just trying to plant that seed of doubt in Adam's mind. Did it. Adam then went to the outside of the defence. Slent cut back to the inside and made the move stick, but unfortunately VW just hasn't got the grunt on the straight.
Well, now he's trying to make the move both ways, and Adam Soswillo will be wise to both. So RC Slent's task at taking 3rd place has just become even harder. RK23 has got the best seat in the house in this battle, but hasn't yet been able to make an impact on it, and maybe a little bit frustrated with that. 3 tenths between our 2 leaders, but this is certainly the most entertaining battle we're watching, and Adam Soswillo now starting to go defensive in all places, because we only have a lap and a half remaining in this one, and Adam Soswillo is still 3rd for now, but can he hold on for the rest of the race? We will wait and find out. Slent there in 4th, RK23 in 5th.
Yeah, so we'll see if that continues. Now, this is a fight that's been going on the entire race. I say a fight, it's been more just one leading the other. Sutsu got past Lightning very early on down at T1, just using the grunt of a Lexus there, but Lightning's not dropped back. He's just stuck to the back end there of that Lexus. I think that he's been kind of pulled along down the straight a little bit, where he's lacking that little bit of top speed, but there's not really a move he can make here. And of course, if he did try to make the move, it is his teammate as well, so I don't think he's very eager to really get in his way or have him off at all. Of course, both of them are Team Redline drivers, although you wouldn't think that from Lightning's Cookie Monster livery. I know he likes a cookie or two, that man. Anyway, down to the last chicane. So this is the last lap now we're coming on to. Can Lightning, or does Lightning even want to do anything about this? Now, you have to think as well in terms of the manufacturers and how this works. Sutsu is for Lexus and Lightning is for Subaru, and right now Lightning is the leading driver of the entire top 16 superstars, and of course is in the Subaru, and the fastest Subaru driver. So right now he's going to happy and set. But saying that, look, he's not giving up, is he? He's really close to the back end there of Sutsu. But to finish that point, Lexus is the same for Sutsu as well. He's one of the quickest Lexus drivers, so really he's in a good position right now, as TRL Org is having a terrible race and wants to pit again.
I was going to say, as much as what you all said about TRL Lightning made a lot of sense there, he is a racing driver at heart, isn't he? And he's going to want to win every race he is in. This is another race, and the victory is just ahead of him. He's got a chance to do this, and Lightning just trying to line up, making himself big in the mirrors of Sutsu as they come out of the second Degner, right on the tail of Sutsu. Sutsu dealing with this pressure very well. The battle for 3rd getting very intense as well, but we must stay with the leaders as they come through the hairpin for the final time. Hizal there just trying to take a tighter line on the exit, and it's all going to go down to the final chicane. Meanwhile, the 3rd place battle in a similar situation, isn't it? Let's pick it up for a little bit. Adam Soswillo there with Slent just behind, and RK23 as well. That's going to go to the wire. Well, our battle for the lead will as well here between Sutsu and Lightning.
Well, here we are then. Last chance saloon there for TRL Lightning. He's in the slipstream. He's had a better run coming out of Spoon, but that Lexus just has the speed in the straight line. He'll pull out now to the right to try and get by, but watch outside the slipstream. That Subaru really struggles. Just can't quite get alongside. He needs to be there. No, he backs out of it. Thinks better of it. Coming through 130R now. Big lift through both of them through there. A lot slower. Sutsu's a bit slow there, but he defends the inside line. Lightning thinks, you know what? I don't think I want this. I'm happy if you win this. I think he's trying to help out his teammate here. We know Lightning would have tried to send that if he could. In the background, looks like Williams Adam is going to hold off from RC Slent, but it is TRL Sutsu from TRL Lightning. Only a 10th in Italy in there, so a nice photo finish there for the Lightning, for the Team Redline guys. Williams Adam Soswillo takes 3rd, RC Slent 4th, and RK23 comes home in 5th position, with DJ Tishney managing to somehow come back to 6th place.
Maybe that medium tyre option wasn't a bad choice after all. Martin Grady 6th place, Carl Williams 7th, Nico RD was 8th, Jomas 74 was 9th. Then we had RC Snake 91 in 10th. Coque Lopez rounded out the top 10. Tyrrell Ward putting on a bit of a show for us a little bit further back. Bellin was 12th, SVDR was 13th. Org drifts down to 14th place, and Steve Gaming was in 15th place. And that is how they finished then. A brilliant battle out front between the teammates of Sutsu and Lightning. Likewise between the likes of Adam Saswillo, RC Slent and RK23 as well.
I would have liked to have seen Lightning, I think, go for the pass on Susie, but I think he was just playing the team game there. A lot of these guys, they drive together, they're part of the same team, so it's not worth doing it for them. There it is, rounding off there. You see Steve Gaming coming home in 15th and last position.
Well, let's look at the points then and how things may have been affected after 8 rounds completed now. Sutsu going into the lead there of our top 16 superstars, 9,350 points. Lightning dropping to 2nd place. Adam Saswillo jumps up all the way to 4th place with that brilliant result in the Aston Martin, now on 8,712 points. And then we had one more change down in 12th with Garasa 91 jumping up to 12th. So still very close out front, but a new leader in Sutsu. We've got more points to look at now as we look at the global manufacturer ranking. Toyota still in the lead, but a change for 3rd place there with Lexus going into 3rd and Aston Martin creeping into the top 12.
Yeah, that'll be because of just the great result there for Sutsu. Getting a win there for the Lexus, really good boost for their points, and it now means that Lexus are only 69 points off the leader.
Well, don't forget, all they are fighting for is our World Tour events, and we've got another one coming up very soon. Our next World Tour event will be at the Nürburgring, where the 24-hour race is taking place. It is going to be on the 21st and 22nd of June. We'll be live on all those available places to watch at those times you see at the bottom of your screen. Make sure you join us for some fantastic racing, but it's goodbye for now.